Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. We have a couple of announcements before we get started. Kate, would you like to take the mic?
Sure. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. Thank you. So I just wanted to take a minute to highlight the fact that we would love to have you as a member of our ASIS student chapter. And I've listed here on the whiteboard under how to join and benefits of joining, how you can find more information about doing that. You should also feel free to email us anytime with any questions you might have about joining the student chapter. And I've noted under Connect with Us our email address. And I also just want to say that I am off to the Information Architecture Summit with Susie at the end of March. We're both incredibly excited about it. And one of the greatest benefits, well, there are many great benefits, but a really great benefit of being a member of our student chapter and of ASIS in general is that you can, as a student, you can volunteer to help out at the conference. And that means they waive your registration fee. So basically, for this IA Summit, that has a value of $570. So it's an amazing opportunity. It's an industry-wide conference. And we're both, like I said, we're both really excited about it. So that's one of the great benefits that you too can benefit from if you join our student chapter. And we would love to have you. So my name is Kate Dillon. I'm actually the membership director, and you can contact me at this email address, sjsuassist@gmail.com. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kate. If any of you are planning on going to the IA Summit, please get in touch with us. We would love to meet more of our fellow SLIS students. Tonight, Dr. Sandra Hirsh is here to discuss, from the employer's perspective, desired skills and knowledge in the LIS profession. Dr. Hirsh, as I'm sure most of you know, is the director of the SLIS program, as well as the president-elect of the Association for Information Science and Technology, and our chapter's faculty advisor. We are thrilled to have her here to speak with us tonight. We will have a question and answer session after the presentation, but we'll also keep track of comments and questions that come into the chat box as we go. Dr. Hirsh, the mic is yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Susie and Kate. I'm really pleased to be here and to be speaking at your kind of membership kickoff event. And I'm hoping that there will be great interest in the association and in joining the student chapter. And I'm really pleased to be part of that. Also in my role as president-elect of ASIS. And I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about that at the end if there's time. But again, I'd like to welcome all of you, and I'm really excited to be here. And we'll be talking about how to maximize your experiences here at SLIS to attain the essential skills and knowledge that is being sought after today by today's employers. So throughout this presentation, you should be gaining some insight into how to match courses and pathways to current job listings requirements, and even learn a little bit more about how internships and some of the extracurricular activities can help provide a competitive edge by enhancing your skill sets and knowledge beyond the curriculum. Okay. So throughout this presentation, we're going to be answering three key questions. First, what are the skills, what skills are today's employers looking for both within and outside the library environment? Second, what knowledge and experiences are prominent in current LIS job listing requirements? And third, what opportunities are available to SLIS students to attain these skills, knowledge, and experiences? So let's begin by exploring current trends in library-related job postings, as well as job postings outside the library utilizing the essential skills attained with the MLIS. An effective way to assess the demand for people with LIS skills in competencies and knowledge is to analyze job postings. Each year, our school analyzes over 450 job listings that appear both in library-centric job listing sites like ALA, SLA, etc., and also those that are in more general job posting sites like monster.com, indeed.com, idealist.org, etc. And what we do is each year we take those results and we produce a snapshot, each year we call it, this year was the 2013 Emerging Career Trends for Information Professionals Snapshot of Job Titles in summer 2013. And I'm going to share a little bit of the results from that and from some of the other information that we have about what employers are looking for. Anyway, this most recent report that we did suggests that knowledge and experience with new and emerging technologies, network and integrated library systems, and metadata standards for electronic collection management are some of the most frequently mentioned job skills. And some of the other kinds of job responsibilities that we have found that is frequently mentioned in these job posting sites include things like creating web and social media presence, creating and sourcing of digital tools, and implementing digitization projects. So in addition to these job posting analysis, SLIS also recently sent out a survey to LIS employers asking them what LIS skills they would emphasize as essential or very important. And their responses report the following skills as essential or very important. These include technology skills, project management skills, marketing and advocacy skills, oral and written communication skills, interpersonal and collaborative skills, teamwork, ability to organize physical and digital items and collections, also the ability to create and deliver instructional programs, and also to facilitate the provision of information to different types of audiences. So I don't know if you have taken a look at what are some of the employers are that do hire graduates from our SLIS program, but just to give you a flavor of that, here's a sampling of some of the employers who've recently hired our graduates. And you can see that there's a wide variety here of employers that have hired both for library environments that range anywhere from public, academic, and school libraries, and also those that are non-library organizations, places like Microsoft, CNN, AT&T, all of these seeking the skills of our MLIS graduates. And as many of you know, and as you heard my background itself also, I've worked in places like Microsoft and HP and LinkedIn. So there is definitely demand for our skill sets in a wide variety of environments. I see the question. I'm not going to be able to necessarily answer questions as I go through the presentation, but it's good that they're captured there. But just since I see it, I actually don't have that data in terms of the percentage of internship employers that hire SLIS grads. I will say that anecdotally that there is internship, while the internship employer may not be the person that hires, there are some of those that do get hired, but oftentimes the fact that you did do an internship will also open up opportunities for you and gives you good experience. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Fine to post questions in there, but I mean I get to them as we go through. Anyway, so I did want to mention this book that just came out, the Librarian Skill Book, the 51 Essential Career Skills for Information Professionals. Deborah Hunt and David Grossman highlight many of the same types of LIS skills that we saw on the previous slide, and they also highlight various skills currently in demand that are not specifically LIS related. And they state that according to hiring managers, what differentiates some job applicants from the rest of the pack and what is most important to them are actually skills that are outside the realm of the standard librarian reference skills that we possess. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, and in the next few slides we'll explore some of the job titles reported in the SLIS Emerging Job Trends Report and list the skills specifically requested by employers. And then we'll also highlight SLIS pathways that focus on these specific skill sets. So here we have a LIS career path for reference services. And you can see here that required skills listed by employers for reference services include the ability to collect, organize, and evaluate data, knowledge of services, and PC and web skills. But notice also the skills bolded on the list. Problem solving, the ability to learn new technology quickly, and leadership. These skills may or may not be included in the curriculum for reference service and yet are considered a required skill for these positions. So we're going to explore opportunities for attaining these skills as we move through the presentation. In this slide, we can also identify the SLIS pathway for academic librarianship, the Information and Learning Commons, as an option for obtaining the specific skills needed of reference services. And depending on what environment you're interested in working in, there are other pathways which could be pursued for reference services too. So these career pathways are offered as introductions to different careers and topics and are intended to be used by students for career planning and course selection. Of course, they're not really specializations per se because they're really more to provide you with some examples of courses that would make sense to take to if you're interested in a particular career pathway. Here we have another example for an LIS career in instruction and outreach. And here you'll see that required skills for these positions include database and search techniques, analytic skills, instruction experience, and integrated library systems. Additional skills being required by employers for these positions include things like leadership and working well with diverse populations and communication and interpersonal skills. And note that there's a career pathway for instruction and outreach, which is information intermediation and instruction. The 2013 Job Trends Report also identified several new and emerging LIS job titles. So within the library setting, new positions focus around things like community and outreach, metadata, emerging technologies, virtual and distance education services, and digital assets and collections. So as LIS students, you have the opportunity to explore various pathways and courses that can specifically prepare you for any of these careers. So let's take a look now at some of the LIS jobs outside the library environment and what's being required for those and how our LIS skills can meet the requirements of those jobs. So Kim Doherty deconstructed what a reference librarian does and mapped these skills to what they would be called in a business environment. And I like this approach because I think it's a valuable exercise for anyone who's thinking about the skills they have to offer and how those skills can overlap into other information environments. So in this image, Doherty outlines the skills attained by reference librarians and how these skills could transfer over to jobs outside the library environment. So for example, Doherty outlines how the reference librarian has the ability to conduct reference interviews, which can map well to industry jobs needing interviewing and interpersonal communication skills. A possible non-LIS job title utilizing these skills could be a business or information researcher. Another example is that reference librarians have a mastery of the research processes. This could tie in with industry job requirements for research results presentation or analysis and synthesis. Some possible job titles connected with these skills include business or data analyst or competitive intelligence specialist. And just as an aside, this is the exact kind of exercise that I myself went through when I was evaluating what I wanted to do with my skill sets and how I thought that my own personal skills and the things I enjoyed doing mapped to the kinds of things I was seeing called for in industry job descriptions. And it was through a process very similar to this that I had identified that I was interested in moving into the user experience research positions that existed even before such a field existed and was being taught in schools of library and information science. So I was able to take my skills and map it to that and get a job at Microsoft doing that kind of work. So I find this exercise really valuable and something I highly encourage you to think about. So here's more examples of ways you can start to think about that translating process or the mapping of your LIS skill set into terminology that people outside of our field may understand or appreciate better. And this is something I think is just really important. Over time, so companies like Microsoft have started to value some of the skills that people with a degree in library and information science have to offer as in positions like what I mentioned as user experience researchers and usability engineers. And in fact, now it's a degree that is one of the ones they list when they're advertising for that kind of position. But it is incumbent on us as to make that translation into the language that the employer is looking for. So rather than speaking about things like cataloging and reference, we really need to be mapping it to the terminology in the job descriptions or in language that makes sense to the employer. So Hunt and Grossman also in that book that I just mentioned devoted a whole section in their Librarian's skill book on skills beyond reference services that extend beyond the library setting. So these skills include strategic knowledge and advantage, results-driven problem solving, research and analysis, and competitive intelligence. Additional skills being required in the skill set include the ability to provide value-added solutions and to think outside the box. Notice how this SLIS pathway on information organization, description, analysis, and retrieval fulfills various library-related jobs, but can also fulfill positions outside the library environment in analytics, competitive intelligence, and strategic planning. So really it's about being kind of creative and mapping what you know and what you like to do and preparing for some of these other kinds of skill sets too and throughout your program. And here's a very familiar job listing category that is applicable to all industries, business and management. So specific skills requested within business and management include marketing and sales, people management, and financial and budget management. Additional skills that may or may not specifically be addressed through their curriculum but being sought for in these positions include public speaking, meeting and event planning, instruction and teaching, and project management. However, I did want to mention that our school does offer courses in project management and instruction, and you probably get lots of experience public speaking through your coursework, and so keep these kinds of things in mind. You should also note that the SLIS pathway on leadership and management that guides students toward a career in leadership and management, both within and outside the library environment. And so that's something to consider. So while we've highlighted just a few examples here, there are many examples of job qualifications that you can view in the Emerging Job Trends report available through the SLIS website, as well as the various pathways our program offers that provide guidance to students on coursework relative to those careers. So I did want to share a list of several of the emerging job titles which call for skills that people with LIS degrees have but are not set in library settings. And these job titles, as you can see, don't use the word librarian in their title, but they do reference our core skill set in the descriptions of what they're looking for in the positions when you look at the job descriptions. So as you can see, we can leverage our deep understanding of technology to fill roles like digital product manager, digital strategist, and web developer. And we can also use our expertise in how to organize information and user needs in roles like information architect, taxonomist, and cloud metadata specialist. And Stephen Abram recently wrote that technical or technological skills have always been important elements for long-term career success, but growing your soft skills such as management, interpersonal relations, listening, influencing skills, and empathy can make the difference between a competent professional and a great leader. I think that's a really important point that he makes. In their book, Hunt and Grossman devote several chapters to specific qualities that are highly desired across all job listings. And as we go through the next couple of slides, think about what qualities you currently possess and which ones you would like to improve upon. We will then explore specific ways that can help you gain these skills or improve upon the ones that you already have. So these professional qualities are important ones that cut across all different types of job listings. Some of these you might notice are repeats from some of the previous slides that focused on specific job requirements, but that just illustrates how important several of these qualifications are. And those include the oral and written communication, being effective in being able to work independently and also within a team, problem solving and an analytic ability, your commitment to public service, and also your experience with multicultural and diverse communities. So in addition to these general qualifications that we just discussed, interpersonal skills are very important, such as having the ability to implement change successfully, networking skills, empathy, and ability to get individuals, groups, and organizations to buy into a service or an idea. And it's very important, these qualities surrounding attitude. Attitude is a very significant quality as it can affect your leadership ability, your efficacy, and also it affects just your general environment and the individuals that you work with and for. So highly requested qualifications in this area include the ability to maintain a positive attitude, being proactive, and going outside your comfort zone. So getting some type of real life experience, whether you're currently working in a library or you're changing careers, is a very essential aspect of a successful job search strategy. And there are a variety of opportunities you can consider to get some real experience as students that will add to your skill set and make you a stronger candidate after graduation. And these include internships, professional development opportunities such as webinars, workshops, and MOOCs, professional networking both online and in person, volunteering, giving presentations, research, and writing. And we're going to explore briefly each of these. So I highly recommend getting some practical experience while you're still in school. And SLIS offers several in-person and virtual internships each semester that can offer tremendous opportunities for gaining new skills. And so I always highly encourage people to take advantage of internships. And it kind of goes back to the question I got earlier about how they may open up opportunities for you in the place where you do intern, but it also gives you something to put on your resume and shows your growth and your application of some of this learning that you're getting in the program. We also have opportunities for research assistantships and peer mentorships that can further your skill sets in research, project management, instructional design, and leadership. I also encourage you to participate in as many professional development opportunities as you can fit into your schedule. SLIS offers so many opportunities to extend your curriculum through workshops and colloquia events, through the annual Library 2.0 virtual conference where you can attend as a participant or a presenter or participate as a moderator, and even now through MOOCs where you can pick up courses to supplement your MLIS, although not for course credit. Attending local and state and national conferences are also good ways to extend your learning and obtain professional development training. And Kate and Susie at the very beginning of this presentation mentioned how they're going to the IA Summit, and that's exactly the kinds of things that you should be doing to extend your professional development experiences and also extend your network. Which leads me to my next point, is the importance and value of professional networking. So establishing and using your professional network in person and online is the most successful job hunting strategy. And as SLIS's Career Development Center puts it, a networking contact is anyone who can provide you with relevant career information, has the power to hire you, or can introduce or refer you to another contact. In fact, I was just contacted today by somebody I used to work with at Microsoft who wanted to me to put them in touch with people I used to work with at LinkedIn who are now at a company that she wants to apply for, and she wanted me to pass along a referral for her, and my previous contacts at LinkedIn got right back to me, and they made a note in her application that I had put a word in for her. So that kind of networking happens all the time, and so it's very important to maintain your good relationships. So there's different strategies, different ways to develop your professional network. It's in terms of joining professional associations, and as you know, SLIS gives 1-year free membership to professional association, and ASIS is one of the ones that you can get a 1-year free membership to. So if you haven't already done that, then that's something to consider. You can join a committee, and I find often that if you go to conferences and you attend a committee meeting, that many times they're looking for people who are eager to get involved, and so it may not necessarily be hard to get engaged in committee work, and that's a great way to build up your reputation, get experience, and build your network. To attend conferences like we just talked about, utilizing social networks like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and I just mentioned an application of LinkedIn that has provided, that I just acted on just today. The importance of attending local workshops, library openings, celebrations, and so on. You can also visit libraries that you'd like to work in, meet the staff, get involved, volunteer. You can also do informational interviews at companies. When I worked at Microsoft, I had people often ask to shadow me or to talk with me informally, either in person or by phone, about what it's like to work at a company like Microsoft. So those are things that you can organize and set up. And many times people are willing to talk with you. You can tell your friends and family so they can inform you of jobs that they hear about. You can get involved in your community, anything from local community events, supporting youth, taking classes, etc. will help you meet people and connect with your interests. So in preparation for this presentation, I asked ASIS Chair Susie what she felt were some of the top 3 reasons to get involved in a professional association with ASIS, even at the student level. And she said that it's really the opportunity to put a variety of skills learned in coursework into practice, whether it's programming and events, communication and marketing, or management and leadership. There's valuable practical experience to be gained and a chance to show present and future employers your new skill sets. Second, this participation in a community of students and professionals with a wide variety of interests and experiences. And the ASIS membership includes many different professions in many industries and areas of study all over the world. So there are excellent opportunities to expand your professional networks in as many directions as you'd like. And third, leadership opportunities can be difficult for new professionals or career changers to find. Serving on the executive board gives you an extremely valuable experience of leading both as an individual and as part of a team. And I did want to also mention that there are opportunities at the national level of ASIS for students to become more involved. And as the next ASIS president, one of the things I am extremely committed to is to connecting students with professional development and networking opportunities through the ASIS organization. And I would love to hear from all of you about your ideas and opportunities about what you would like to see at the national level. And what would make you want to get more engaged and participate and attend conferences and the like. So that's something that I definitely want to have a conversation with you about here during this session or later. So if you have some ideas while I'm talking, just go ahead and type them in the chat, or you can always email me or share them with the leadership of the ASIS student chapter, and hopefully they can share things back with me. That's one of the things I kind of ran on, was how can we engage students more deeply in the association. You're really the future, and I think there's a lot of things that can be done that are mutually beneficial. Okay, so another strategy for success is to become a volunteer, and there's lots of ways that you can volunteer. You can volunteer at your local library or in a different type of work environment, or at a LIS conference, and where you can seek opportunities to gain new skills. You can volunteer to be a Collaborate moderator for like an upcoming session. You can add to your technical and moderating skills. You can develop or review a module for SLIS 23 Things for SLIS students and alumni that will help you develop your instructional design, WordPress, social media, and communication skills. Back to the Collaborate moderator and developing those experiences, another opportunity is to, in addition to SLIS events, is as I mentioned, is the Library 2.0 conference series. And the next conference will be October 8th and 9th, 2014, which may seem like a long ways away, but you can go ahead and mark your calendars now. But we are always looking for Collaborate moderators and volunteers, and lots of our students have done that in the past and have found that really rewarding. Okay, then presentation skills. I want to talk about presentations. Both in person and virtually don't always come naturally, but yet they're considered, as you saw in the previous slides, one of the essential skills for LIS professionals both within and outside the library environment. So gaining presentation experience as a student can boost your confidence, help you develop effective presentation techniques, and can even make you visible to potential employers. And there are many opportunities to present on topics that interest you. And again, I don't because it's such a great forum, I do want to say that we welcome student participation in the Library 2.0 and for conference also as a presenter, and that's a great vehicle for getting experience. You can also submit presentation proposals to local conferences or also national level as well, and also offer to hold a workshop or organize a seminar with the ASIS student chapter or with SLIS Connect or with the ALA, the Special Libraries Association student chapter, or ALASC, or one of the other student groups. And then there's also great to get engaged in writing and research projects. Effective writing and research skills are valuable LIS skills to develop. And the SLIS environment offers not only various opportunities for writing and research, but also a fantastic support system of peers who are there to help you through every stage of the writing and research process. So whether you're looking at sharing an experience through a blog post, want to write an article for the ALA SC descriptor, or get published through this SLIS Student Research Journal, there are many opportunities throughout the year to get involved and develop your writing and research skills. And above all, be fearless and know your own worth. Be committed to your own ongoing professional development. Know that you have developed personal qualities, technical expertise, and habits of mind as a librarian that will serve you well in a wide variety of work environments. But also keep in mind that you must always be learning and adding to your skill set. We have many opportunities here as students and many resources available to you as you become alum as well. So in conclusion, I'd like to emphasize that it's not necessary to be an expert in all of the skills listed in this presentation. The purpose is to identify the skills that will help make you the strongest candidate possible through knowledge, talent, aptitude, and skills, and to reach your professional goals. Through your coursework, professional development opportunities, and getting involved with professional associations, you can obtain the skills that you need or strengthen your current skills. So in closing, I love this quote from Stephen Abram that says, "You are your own best asset, and every investment in yourself goes for naught." So many opportunities exist for you, and you just need to stretch yourself to make it happen. So with that, I see that there's a lot of typing that has happened in the chat box. Maybe somebody can help me surface some of the questions or that I need to, that I should address.
So we've had several exchanges about ideas for projects in the future and people offering to volunteer. I did not catch any questions that you need to answer yet. Please, somebody, if I'm wrong, feel free. I will open up the mic so people can take the mic to ask questions.
I actually have a question. I am turning out to be a grad student who is not necessarily focusing heavily on research, which is pretty traditional. And I'm wondering, I'm assuming based on my career professional interests in non-traditional library jobs, possibly in corporate environments, that, and I'll be a hands-on kind of manager, technical person. And I'm assuming that that won't work against me, but I've never kind of asked anyone that question. So,
so what kind of job, I'm sorry, what kind of job are you looking for? Do you think you'll want to go into?
Definitely like a corporate environment, possibly archives, possibly just information architecture and user experience. I'm still kind of trying to figure that out.
So, that really depends. It's kind of less about the environment and more about the specific type of job role that you're looking for. So, for example, if you were going to be a user experience researcher in the user experience space, then having good research skills would be obviously really important. But if you were going to be a user experience designer, then you would probably not need to have really great research skills. So when you say user experience, there's a wide range of opportunities even within that general area. So it really depends on what it is that you are going to be doing. So obviously you're going to have at least one research methods course that will be under your belt because it's required as part of the program. So you will be graduating with at least some basic experience with research from that standpoint. And then it would really depend after that what it is that you want to do. And so that's the best I can answer the question, I think, without having more specific information about the jobs. I guess the other thing I would say, Kate, is I would recommend if it's never too early to be exploring these things, I would take a look at some potential job titles that you think that you might be interested in, or in work environments, and explore that. And then take a look and see what kinds of requirements and qualifications it asks for, and make sure that you are hitting the mark. Additionally, if this is a good opportunity also for you to get an internship in the area that you think you might want to work in, not only will that be useful for all the reasons mentioned, but it also will be useful from the standpoint of knowing whether or not, having that experience, you'll see whether that you like that environment or you like that type of work, and it'll give you good exposure so that you don't go too far off track, and you'll know before you get too far into anything. I saw that there was a question about, I did see there was a question about being involved as a deaf person. I'm trying to find the question now. I did want to mention that one of the things that we get questions about, and this might be something that I don't know if the ASIS student chapter wants to take, oh yeah, who would I contact about potentially holding a workshop or seminar? There's a great opportunity for people to learn about how to serve the deaf community. And that might be something that you want to work on with the ASIS student chapter to coordinate some kind of session around that area, or any of the other student chapters. Potentially that would be an opportunity. I was also going to put out for as an opportunity that for people to take leadership roles. One of the things that we get questions about for the Library 2.014 conference, which is a free conference, is providing support for captioning for people who are deaf, and it's unfortunately something that we don't have the resources to provide, given that it is a free conference. However, everything else in that conference is done through volunteers, and that is an opportunity for people to potentially volunteer to do some captioning of sessions, kind of like what we do for some of our presentations that are done in different languages. People in the community volunteer to do translation, or to do some sort of as I said, translations of those sessions. So that's an opportunity too. So I would recommend talking with some of the student leaders to see about doing some sort of workshop in that area. I'm looking to see if there's other questions. So I see, Dan, I see you asked, I work for the government currently and don't want to get out of the system, currently working in records, but want to segue to archives. Do you have any suggestions for me? I think that I would recommend that you talk to I would suggest that you maybe talk with Lori Lindbergh or Pat Franks to get some recommendations. About how to make that transition. I think that they would have good recommendations for you in that regard. Tina, yes, with your skills, or with, you're saying with your skills? Yeah, I'm sorry that that's happening. I would.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just in my, I'm sort of tied to a particular region of Los Angeles, so I'm not able to relocate or do some of the things that might expand my search to a nationwide search or larger. So I'm looking at a particular area, and it's proven to be a very tight market, and after a year, it's sort of, you get in that rut of feeling very frustrated, and I'm looking at my resume, and the things on there are sort of dropping down. Oh, I can't say that was just this past summer. Now that was 2 summers ago I did that internship. Or how do I guess, feel like I'm still with the students? I feel like I am because I don't have a job. So how do I get that experience? I guess what can San Jose still do for me as a year down the road person?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm assuming that you've already been talked with people like Jill Cleese and utilized some of the career resources that we provided for every graduating student for a year after you graduated for this the Career Center and the like. And but in terms of yeah, I would do volunteering. These are all great suggestions that are happening in the chat. Right, but your question was, what do you do to demonstrate your skill sets are current if you don't have a job? So if these are the suggestions for that question, and that's really hard when you're tied to a specific geographic area. And I don't have the flexibility to move. So this is a hard question to answer here because I think it's individual and to a certain extent, because it depends on, how open you are to the type of work that you're doing and what environments you've looked at and how you've matched things. So I'd recommend the kinds of things that are suggested here. Speak with Jill Cleese again if you haven't done it recently, and get some updated advice. And that would be the direction I would go. Yeah, and continue to continue to network through your friends and colleagues and postings, and make sure that they know the kinds of things that you're interested in, and hopefully something will that they'll be able to put you in touch with something or alert you to some opportunity. Definitely don't give up though. Other questions? And yes, go ahead.
I actually just wanted to jump on the tail end of that. In light of what you shared, I wanted to let you know that we are having a LinkedIn Q&A event on March 5th. I'm chatting the link to the posting on our website about it with the Collaborate link. It's going to be very informal. 2 ASIS members are actually volunteering to share their profiles, and Jill Cleese is going to go through them in detail to find out how to optimize your profile so that you can increase the likelihood that people will connect with you. And that could also possibly open you up to connecting with people in different areas of the country who are looking for a remote a worker to work remotely. That's definitely an option in this day and age.
So I did have a question for you guys, and I wanted to circle back to that, and that is, what is it that would, as students, what is it that would make you want and be more engaged at a national level? Like, what kinds of things can ASIS either do for you, or what kind of opportunities would be attractive to you as a student that would make you feel engaged at a conference or throughout the year? Love to hear about that. Okay, thanks, Kate. I'm wondering if there's a small group of you, or maybe I can talk to Susie and Kate later, that might work with me on building out some of those ideas about student engagement and the association. Do you think some of you might be interested in talking with me about that? Great. That's fantastic. And Kate, I'd love to have you engaged, because I know you've been to the conference too. Fantastic. Okay, good. Okay, good. I have some enthusiasm. So maybe that's the way we'll do that, because I'd love to have this conversation. It's one of the things I think we really need to get better at, and I don't know that we've hit the mark yet. Yes, go ahead.
So I wanted to share that Kate and I attended one of the ASIS webinars on Wednesday. That was the chapter, regional and student chapter meeting for chapter leaders. And what we learned is that there are a number of really great resources on the main ASIS website that are tools for us to use in running the chapter, and they're really encouraging that all of the chapters work together to trade ideas and strengthen membership building efforts and things of that sort. And Kate and I came out of that webinar very excited and very enthusiastic, and I think that with the help of other chapters like the student chapter at University of Washington and Rutgers and Simmons and some of the regional chapters as well, I think we're going to have a really great couple of years. But it also came through that everyone needs more volunteers. So please, all of you who are saying that you'd like to know more about projects to help out with, send us an email. Let us know what you're interested in. We are more than happy to have you on board.
Any other questions or comments? Did you, Susie, did you have any other business?
I actually have one more thing I wanted to chat you guys, and it's the survey link for tonight's event. We would love to hear what you have to think about tonight's event, and we will use this information to inform planning into the future, and it's completely anonymous. So thank you in advance.
Oh, and I see this comment. Yes, and ASIS, it's really misleading to say that it's a national association, because it's really moved heavily into international. In fact, changed its name from the American Society for Information Science and Technology to the Association for Information Science and Technology, specifically to expand more into an international audience. So it does have more of an international profile than some of the other groups. Oh, you're very welcome. Well, it's been my pleasure to participate tonight and to talk with all of you. And I hope that we'll have, you know, if you're not already a member of the ASIS student chapter, I hope you'll join, and I hope you'll become very active in the association. So thank you for having me tonight, and I look forward to talking with all of you again sometime soon. So,
thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
My pleasure. Have a good night, everyone.